Well, good day, subscribers. Welcome into 3 Stocks I'm Buying June 2021 edition. And here today, we're going to get into more than 3 stocks. Okay, first off, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys being here. As always, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. That helps out huge YouTube algorithm. Today, we're going to get into actually 7 stocks. Okay, we got to keep the name around 3 stocks I'm buying, right? But we're actually going to get into 7 stocks. So I'm going to give you 2 stocks here today that are for sure buys for me in the month of June. Then we got to get into 5 stocks that are probably buys for me in the month. And whenever I do these videos, it's not just about like what are these stocks. It's about like why am I so excited about these individual stocks? Why do I want to buy these stocks so bad? My plan is to put about $100,000 into the market during the month of June of 2021. Okay, so needless to say, I got some money that I'm kind of looking to flush in the market, and there are some stocks I see that are very attractive pricing for somebody like myself that's a long-term investor. And anybody that's watching this video, that you don't usually watch my videos, you don't usually watch my content, I'm a long-term investor. I'm usually looking out several years into companies. I'm not just there to try to make a little bit of money in the short term or something like that. Usually I'm trying to make, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars over the course of 3, 5, 7 years. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this as always. And let me know what you guys think about these stocks as well. If you're looking to join my private stock group, if you're looking to get in the private Discord chat, you want to check out the coaching program, all those sorts of things, check out the first pinned comment down there. Alrighty guys, let's get into these stocks, and boy do we have a lot to get into, okay? The first one up here, I think you guys all knew this one was going to have to make the list at some point, okay? The tattoo chef is, I have to mention this one, okay? Tdcf. Now, the interesting thing in regards to Tdcf for me is I already own over $1 million worth of stock, okay? And I was not planning on buying any more. However, I listened to the conference call last night for the 3rd time. Yes, the 3rd time. And coming away from that conference call after the 3rd time, I just can't stop buying the stock. It's just, I feel like it's too easy of money for me over the next several years, especially on a risk reward standpoint. I'm always thinking about what's my risk going in? What's the chance I lose money in that stock over the next 5 years? And what's the chance I double, triple, quadruple, 5x my money in that stock over the next 5 years or so? In my opinion, there's no doubt in my mind that Tattoo Chef is going to a $10 billion plus market cap long term, okay? And the reason I believe this is if you look at food giants historically, okay, food giants are usually $10 billion plus market cap, and some of them are tens of billions of dollars of market cap, or even $100 billion plus, okay, food and drink giants, okay? Tattoo Chef, in my opinion, is gonna become that company. There's no doubt in my mind when I see the moves this company's making, when I see how well their products are catching on, when I see how fast they're getting distribution into all the stores you wanna be in and whatnot, there's no doubt in my mind that this is gonna be a $10 billion plus company down the road. And so when I look at this stock, I say, okay, if it's 2 billion, 1.7 billion, 1.5 billion, does it matter? Does it matter at all if I believe that company's going to 10 billion plus long term, right? It doesn't, okay? Obviously, everybody would love to get shares as cheap as possible, right? Give me it for $1 a share, right? Super unrealistic, right? So that's the way I'm kind of looking at the stock. I'm like 99.9% convinced this is going to be a $10 billion plus company long term. How can I not buy it at 1.7 billion? That's just kind of the bottom line for me. So yes, I will have to continue to buy this stock. They're a plant-based food company for anybody that doesn't know, and they're growing ridiculously rapidly, okay? And go to any Target pretty much in the whole United States, you'll see they almost have an entire door dedicated to themselves now. It's absolutely unbelievable the way this company's expanding, okay? Now, if we look at some numbers, let's get into some numbers here, okay? As far as EPS goes for this year, they're expected to lose 6 cents, okay? Where things start getting really interesting is, now, first off, I don't even care about, personally, as a shareholder of this company and somebody that even wants to buy more stock, I don't even care about short-term profitability. I'm going to care about earnings per share and net income. I will care about those line items in 2023 and after when it comes to this company. For the next 2 years, all I care about is revenue growth and getting in literally as many stores as possible. However, with that being said, the company's supposed to lose 6 cents this year, but then supposed to go all the way, analysts expect them to have 29 cents of positive EPS in 2022. That's a massive difference in number. And usually when you get that type of difference year over year, that's when you start to see a stock price fly. When a company goes from unprofitable, losing money on the bottom line, to all of a sudden, a massive rapid change to profitability, that's when a lot of times you get a crazy jump in the stock price, okay? Sometimes it happens a little before this change happens, and sometimes it happens actually in that year, okay? That's something to kind of keep in mind. I've seen it just time and time again with every company pretty much out there. If a company goes from losing money to all of a sudden they're making profits, and especially big profits, it's like, investors' minds just change rapidly. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, this seems like a much safer stock now that they're actually making money. And it is. It's like no one wants to be in a company that's constantly always losing money, right? It's much more of a good feeling to actually be in a company that's profitable and making money. And some investors and some funds, they won't touch a stock if it's losing money. And also keep in mind, in order to get in a lot of the indexes and things like that, a lot of times, what do you have to do? Well, you have to have several profitable quarters in a row, okay? So this is something to kind of keep in mind there, all right? And Tattoo Chef, I think long-term, will be in all the indexes, okay? Including the illustrious S&P 500. It might take it a year or two to get in the S&P 500, but there's no doubt in my mind that Tattoo Chef will get into the S&P 500. And when you get into the S&P 500, usually what happens, especially if people start expecting it, you get a huge run-up in the stock price prior to getting in the S&P 500. And then once you're in the S&P 500, guess what? Now funds that are basically index funds that are investing in the S&P 500, now they're forced to invest in you. Whether they like your business or don't like your business, it doesn't matter. If you're an index fund, you're forced to buy those certain stocks. So yeah, I mean, there's just so much coming for the chef. It's unbelievable, okay? Then we go ahead and we look at revenue growth, okay? Now keep in mind, there are only 2 analysts that cover the stock. That number is going to likely increase rapidly over the coming years, okay? If we look at as far as revenue goes, 239 mil expected. Analysts brought this number up from before was about 222, if I recall, okay? So they brought this number up. Don't be surprised if they do 250 plus. Don't be surprised if they do 275 plus for revenue this year, okay? I mean, they're just consistently beating on numbers, okay? Sales growth expected to be 61% in this current year. I think analysts are lowballing next year specifically, okay? And once again, it's only a couple analysts that cover the stock, okay? They have 323. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Tdcf does 400 mil revenue in 2022. Like, I would not be surprised. 350, I almost feel like it's in the bag, but a 400 mil, I would not be surprised at all if they do 400 mil revenue in 2022 and destroy these analyst estimates here, okay? Analysts have them only growing 35% in next year. Now keep in mind, 35% in the food and drink industry is unbelievable. Like you're going to find very few companies growing those sorts of numbers. I just feel like that's actually lowball. Now, this stock, I love the fundamentals, as I just explained to you guys about the revenue growth, the profitability coming down the road, right? Great management team at this company with Sam Galletti there, who's been in the food industry longer than I've been alive, okay? And I love all that, okay? And I love the innovation there. I love how they're getting into more and more stores and getting more and more expansion all over the United States. And they're already starting to test some international, okay? But also, this is the perfect Wall Street stock. And when Wall Street really starts catching wind of this, which they might have already started catching wind of it a little bit, because keep in mind the stock is basically, rose from about $15 a share to now $21, $22 in a matter of a little over a month. So they might already be starting to catch on to this one, but in my opinion, they're going to catch on a lot more in the future. And the reason is, the reason this is a perfect Wall Street stock, it's a plant-based food company. So, super exciting, new industry that's massively growing, okay? That excites Wall Street in a big way. The company itself has unbelievable growth, right? Analysts expecting the gross revenue 60% plus this year. Very exciting, okay? Extremely innovative company, always coming out with new products, like left and right. I can't even keep track of them all, okay? Only 2 analysts are covering the stock right now. That's probably going to go to 5 to 10 analysts within the next, I would say, 18 months. We'll see what happens with that, but that's what I would expect, 5 to 10 analysts covering the stock within the next 18 months. And there's growth as far as I can see. Like literally as far as I can see, there's just growth. Like I don't even know what year Tattoo Chef stops growing. Like I don't know. Like I can't see it. Like anytime in any of the foreseeable future, like this whole decade, I expect the company to grow year after year after year. It's just a question of what clip are they growing at? Is it like 60%? Is it like 30%, 20%, 10%? Things like that. It is the it has the makings of a perfect Wall Street stock. So yeah, Tattoo Chef, I still, even though I've already got 7 figures in that stock, I gotta buy some more. It is just an unbelievable company, and I just think it's going to be, one of the best, one of the biggest money-making stocks I've ever had. No. I think it's going to be the biggest money-making stock I've ever had. And that's saying a lot because this is a guy that was invested in Tesla, right? So for me to believe this is going to be the best money-making stock I've ever owned, yeah, that's saying a lot, okay? And now we got to get into the second stock of the more than likely buys, and then we'll get into the probably buys. Alrighty guys, second stock up here of the bunch is Voyager Digital, okay, VYGVF, okay, Voyager Digital, crypto brokerage, getting into a lot more in that over time, okay. We got some exciting stuff we got to get into in regards to this one. So it's under a $3 billion market cap as of right now, okay, and this company has been absolutely tearing it up when it comes to numbers, okay. First thing I actually want to start with here is the massive market opportunity for this company, okay. If you look at, the crypto market, I mean, we're talking, 2 trillion, maybe less than 2 trillion of an opportunity there. 9 trillion plus is a gold market cap, right? And then if you look at global investment assets in general, 120 trillion plus, right? And that number is pretty much consistently growing. The reason I show you that is because, when I'm investing in this Voyager company, I'm not just thinking about it as a crypto brokerage and that's all they're going to become. Whenever I hear, Steve, the CEO, speak, it is very clear, and by the way, Steve used to be a VP over at E-Trade, okay? Whenever I hear him talk, it's very clear to me that Voyager Digital will become much more long-term than just a crypto brokerage, okay? They're going to get into a lot more business lines over time. They're going to expand their opportunity massively, in my personal opinion, when it comes to this company. There's just no doubt in my mind. Every time I hear them speak, the type of team they're starting to, put in place there, I think they're going to be able to successfully build a stock brokerage as well, and maybe even other products over time, okay? And we're going to get into a whole lot of that, okay? As far as key metrics, account acquisitions, $40 per account. Monthly revenue is $100 per account. That's a very important number, okay? $40 per account acquisition, $100 monthly revenue per account, okay? User growth, 35% up month over month. These are the latest quarterly numbers. They did 60 mil in revenue for this company. Wait to see how fast they're growing, okay? Operating profit of 30 mil, operating margin of 50%. 50%, folks. That is quite a nice number there. Needless to say, this is a growth beast, okay? As far as the timeline, it's been amazing what this company's pulled off in a very short amount of time, right? Operation begins in 2018, publicly listed in 2019, iOS launch, the Ethos acquisition, right, which is now VGX, which, by the way, I do own VGX, and I have been buying VGX coin as well. Android launch, internet, as far as their interest launch, okay, so getting interest. They had their Circle acquisition, USDC interest launch, $150 million of assets under management, right? Then you have the desktop launch, $1.7 billion of assets under management. And now today, look at this, 3.3 billion, 3.3 billion assets under management now, okay? The numbers are nothing short of spectacular from this company. And like I said, that's in a very short amount of time, and look what this company's pulled off. Imagine what they're going to pull off over the next 5-10 years. You know what I mean? Woo-wee! That's all I got to say about that, okay? Look at this. Net deposits and asset growth accelerate dramatically. Okay, look at this. This is absolutely ridiculous, okay? 3.3 billion plus of assets under management, April 2021. Compares to 5 million in December 2019. 660x. 660x assets under management. That is just unbelievable, okay? Look at this, okay? So if you want to talk about what differentiates Voyager versus competition, because there's everybody all of a sudden wants to start having some, you can buy Bitcoin through our app and through our service and things like that, right? Okay, look at Voyager. You want to talk about competition? Let's talk about competition, okay? Voyager has more coins than all these other people, okay? As far as the interest-bearing assets, they have more interest-bearing assets than anybody else, okay? So right off the bat, you're telling me this brokerage has more coins for me to invest in, right? Or trade if that's something somebody's doing. And I can get interest on a lot more of them. And a lot of times the interest rate is higher, I found, on Voyager than I can get anywhere else. So right off the bat, that's two huge things, right? They're commission-free, right? Unaffiliated exchange routing also, and they're a publicly traded company, which also builds the trust, right? If there's one thing there's always been kind of a problem in the crypto market is distrust, right? And people distrusting things. A company like Voyager, They have to be, because they're a publicly traded company, they have to be like insanely regulated. Let's just put it that way, and make sure everything is perfect and all the I's are dotted, right? And all the T's are crossed. So yeah, needless to say, Voyager competes actually extremely well, even if they're competing against companies bigger than them, okay? And you look at the future growth opportunities, right? B2B partnerships, business-to-business partnerships, right? Debit cards, credit cards, margin, new asset listings, right? Traditional banking products, equities, international opportunity, obviously M&A is an opportunity, right? Self-custody wallets, all these things. Like you know, I can see a day, and this day is not even that far into the future. I'm talking within the next 5 years. It's not like we're talking like 50 years from now. I can talk about the next 5 years. I can see a day when Voyager is like you do everything through them, essentially. You can buy cryptos through them. You could buy stocks through them. You could buy bonds through them, right? You can just hold cash in like a savings account. You can just hold, a stable coin, something like that through them, right? You can do all your banking stuff through them. You have your credit card through them, your debit card, all that. Like I could see a customer potentially doing all that with Voyager within the next 5 years. You have your checking accounts, savings accounts, everything. You can trade, you can swap out a stock for a crypto or a crypto for a stock. Like I can see all that playing out within the next 5 years for this company, okay? It really just comes down to how fast can they execute. They're adding a lot of employees right now, which I think is very, very important. But as this business scales, like when you think about that type of market opportunity, and if they can pull that off, you're talking about a market capitalization on this company of tens of billions, or dare I say hundreds of billions of dollars down the road, right? I mean, imagine they have that type of ecosystem in the next 5 years, and they just continue to grow that pie over the next decade, right? This is how big giants in the financial space are built over time, right? Your users are worth a ton of money, right? As a big financial company of any type, right? And as long as you can continue to offer new products and services, this is where there's a reason the banks are valued at hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, the big banks, right? There's a reason you see all these fintech startups, valued at 10 billion, 30 billion, 50 billion, all these different things, right? I mean, heck, look at Robinhood. They've been through a lot of bad stuff, right? And Robinhood still has a valuation of, I don't know, I've heard anywhere from 30 to 60 billion dollars. That's unbelievable, right? That's just unbelievable. And so, yeah, Voyager has so many exciting things coming for them over time. It's unbelievable, okay? Look at this. Revenue grew 16x in the latest quarter, okay, to over $60 million. So the company is rapidly growing. Man, it's just... we go back to the risk reward. My risk is I'm taking in Voyager is, I don't know, everybody forgets about cryptos, and also no one wants to buy cryptos, and the crypto market just like fades away into oblivion, right? It doesn't seem that realistic nowadays. 5 or 10 years ago, you could have made that argument, but today it is very hard to just be like, oh, crypto market just crashes and continues to crash, and no one wants cryptos anymore. A little hard to kind of foresee that situation, okay? Obviously, cryptos will be volatile. There's going to be some big crashes. There's going to be some huge bull runs. That's kind of that, right? But as far as like people just completely losing interest in it, I don't know if that happens, okay? And so I'm taking that risk. I'm willing to take that risk that everybody forgets about it, right? And which would be a horrible thing for Voyager. But also, I think this company's going to diversify over time. They're going to get into stocks and banking products, credit cards, debit cards, all those sorts of things. So all of a sudden, that mitigates that risk in a huge way, right? And so they got this cash cow business for now that's going to fund future businesses. And yeah, I really like this one. So now let's go ahead and get into the 5 probably buys. Alrighty, folks, now for the probably buys, okay? The stocks that I'm going to probably buy during the month of June of 2021, okay? And first one up here is Bobo Tv, okay? Bobo Tv. Or Fobo. Man, why can I never pronounce this word right? And actually, I was pronouncing it right before the video while I was prepping these slides. For this one, I was actually like sounding it out, and I was like, oh, I got it down. And now, all of a sudden, I start recording, and I can't pronounce it right again, okay? Fubu TV, okay? So this one, it's a $3-something billion market cap. They're a streaming player, and they're also a potential gaming player. With potentially, some things where you can wager through the company and whatnot. Streaming player obviously can make advertising money as well on top of their subscription fees, okay? And they're growing rapidly. I feel like it's a perfect, last quarter, I believe they grew revenues, I believe it was 105%, okay? And it's I think it's a perfect acquisition target. I'm not buying this one because I believe they're going to get bought out by another company, but I do look at this one and I say I like their growth trajectory. I like their opportunity in front of themselves. And I think this is a perfect acquisition target for YouTube TV and Google to buy out, or other companies. I mean, there's a million companies in this space that probably would love to buy out a company like this that's growing rapidly and kind of just, has a future. I don't want to say they have the future on lockdown, but they're doing a pretty darn good job, okay? They have different plans, $64 a month plan. They have their elite $79 a month plan, right? Which you get 162 channels and all these other things, cloud DVR, 1,000 hours of space, unlimited screens, 10 streams at home, and all these sorts of things, right? But really what I think is interesting about this company is they really brand themselves as the streaming service you got to get if you're a sports fan. And I will say, I looked into their packages and they definitely, if you are a sports fan, they kind of got what you want. So I like it for that reason. I like their growth and I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting stock. Now, the one thing that's frustrating me about this stock is ever since I bought, the stock has just gone up like a rocket ship, pew, it's been ridiculous. I bought this stock on May 13th, so not that dang long ago, only a few weeks ago, right? And it's already gone up 33%. I'm like, come on, man, you got to be flipping my flapjack. So it's a little frustrating how fast the stock's going up. And that happens from time to time in the stock market. I mean, if you're going all in stocks here and there, you probably love this sort of activity. But for somebody like myself that likes to buy in disciplined fashion, I usually like to start my positions between $2,000 and $10,000. Okay. And so when I start buying in, my hope is that the stock doesn't do much or maybe even goes down the short term. And I buy in heavier and heavier and heavier and I get my position bigger and bigger. Well, with this one, it's literally I bought in and it's already up 33% in a matter of a few weeks and already up 3,000. So I'm hoping the stock falls and goes back down so I can build this position a little bigger. So that's why I put in the probability category. I mean, I'm telling you, if this stock was around where I bought it at first, I would be buying more. This would have been one of the for sure stocks. But because it has gone up so much so fast, that's why I'm putting it into the probably category. So yeah, anyways, that's that one, okay? By the way, in regards to these probably stocks, we're not going to go in depth on these as we did the main stocks, right? Next one up here, the second of the 5 probablys is Corsair Gaming, CRSR, okay? Corsair Gaming, $32 stock, $3 billion market cap. Corsair Gaming's funny. This is a funny stock, okay? You want to know why? They're in the forefront of the gaming sector and the streaming sector, as well as some other businesses, okay? But just gaming and streaming alone, right? Wall Street's acting like, and this one just did basically went public in the past year, okay? So Wall Street's still got to figure this one out. But Wall Street at the moment is acting like the world's opening back up, so no one's going to care to game or stream anymore, okay? And I just say, what? Okay, what? You think just because the world's going to open back up, no one's going to care about streaming and gaming anymore? I don't know what planet Wall Street's on, but that's not the way this works, okay? If people that love to game are still going to love to game whether, all the bars and clubs are open back up or not. People that love to stream are going to continue streaming. Streaming and gaming are just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger over the next 5-10 years, right? So I love Corsair. I love their positioning. Wall Street's going to figure out this stock. I think this one, I've always kind of said this one could start running as early as this summer. It's already starting to run a little bit. I mean, here today, it's up almost 5%. Big upward move here today. It's at a forward P. A forward P on the stock, right? Forward P of under 20. That's just laughable. That's all I can say about it. It's just laughable for a company like this. Forward P under 20 in the forefront of the gaming and the streaming industry. All right, Wall Street, you do you, I'll do me, okay? Needless to say, this is a borderline, almost a for sure buy for me. But yeah, it's a probably buy if it sees any type of major weakness, and especially if it was hit anything with a 2 in front of it. I will gladly pick up more shares of stock. At 4 p.m. to 20, I just can't. I just can't be like, oh, no, I don't want to buy this stock. Come on, man. They're doing way too much. They have so many acquisitions. They're just an amazing company with an amazing management team there in front of exciting industries, okay? Let's get into the next stock up here, the probablys, Coinbase, okay? So Coinbase is a probably, and the reason Coinbase is a probably is because I'm not 100% sure if I want to buy Voyager and Coinbase in the same month, right? They do compete, very similarly, right? They have some different products and services. Obviously, Coinbase is a giant in this space with over $60 billion market cap, but that company's growing revenues rapidly, growing profitability rapidly. Their margins are amazing. And Coinbase reminds me a lot of Facebook when Facebook went public, okay? I just see so many similarities. Gigantic corporations when they went public, right? And just very misunderstood by Wall Street. And so I look at this Coinbase company and I say, this just, has the makings of being potentially a multi-$100 billion company down the road. And I'm kind of thinking, once again, risk reward. What's my risk going in and what's my reward potential, right? The risk is everybody forgets about cryptos, doesn't care, and Coinbase can't get away from cryptos, and it just is like a floundering stock. Best case scenarios is, crypto market grows over the next 10, 20 years. Coinbase grows along with it, continues to come out with innovative products and services, and becomes a giant in the financial space in general over time, okay? So Coinbase, yeah, that's why it's a probably stock, because I'm not sure if I want to buy Voyager and Coinbase in the same month, but I do look at them and they both feel discounted to me. I like Voyager better than Coinbase. Let me just be clear about that. The reason being is I just feel like Voyager has a lot more upside long term, okay? They're just at a very different market capitalization, and I love the way they innovate at their size, but I really like Coinbase as well, okay? Let's get into the fourth stock of these 5 stocks now is Tdcf, Gtech Holdings, okay? High-end player in the Jack Jackson space, let's put it that way. And triple-digit growth on this company. They should grow triple digits in the future. And I just love this company. I mean, it's the smallest market cap company I own. Little over $100 million market cap. But the thing that makes Gtech Holdings so special, in my opinion, is they're competing at the premium high end of the space, which a lot of the other companies have tried to focus on being the mass producer of product, right? And I don't think that's the play. I understand why a lot of companies try to go after that, but I honestly don't think that's the play. I love companies that compete at the high end of the space, right? Think about Wynn Resorts. I own Wynn Resorts, right? That's the premier properties in Macau and in Las Vegas, right? They compete at the high end of the market, right? I love companies that are in the luxury goods sector that compete at the highest end, right? And so when I think, I loved obviously Nordstrom Stock. Nordstrom Stock was a stock that, was fortunate to make us a lot of money over time, right? In Nordstrom Stock, where do they compete? They compete at the high end of the market, right? I love companies that compete with and trying to make something that's a premium product out there. And that's what Gtech's focus on. The balance sheet's amazing at this company now. I believe they have, as of last quarter, it was like 19 mil cash and no debt now. So it's, when I think about like risk reward, right? Usually you think about, $100 million market cap, that must be insanely risky. Well, they've had some triple digit growth behind them, right? They got a good management team in place and they have an unbelievable balance sheet. It doesn't feel nearly as risky as, a lot of companies that would be this type of market cap. And so my best case scenario in the stock is that this can become a $1 billion company over time, or maybe a multi-billion dollar company, and carves out a beautiful, high-end product niche. That's my hope for this company over time. Also, I do feel like if they did want to ever sell themselves to a bigger company, they could easily do that. And a bigger company could easily make this acquisition happen, right? I mean, let's say Gtech want to sell themselves. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but let's say they want to sell the company. I mean, they could probably get anywhere from 150 mil to 175 mil tomorrow, I would assume, from one of the big MJ players who would be happy to buy them out. So yeah, Gtech Holdings, I really like this one. It's a probably buy for me. Last stock up here in the bunch is Palantir, PLTR. This one I've talked a lot about recently, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but extremely sticky business model. I think they're going to be very, very profitable over time. Wall Street doesn't understand them right now. Yeah, I really like Palantir. I started a position in it. It's already gone up a ton. I'm like, come on, Palantir, man. It's kind of did what Bobo Tv did, unfortunately. But yeah, I really like Palantir, needless to say. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, we just covered a whole lot of stocks I'm going to be either buying or probably buying in the month of June. Hope you appreciate that. If you don't mind, smash a thumbs up before you leave. If you're looking to apply for a private stock group, you want to check out that, check out pinned comment down there. Much love, guys, and peace.